Welcome to a day in the Word. Today's reading is Esther chapter 7 through Esther chapter 8. Esther chapter 7. So the king and Haman went to eat with Queen Esther. Then, as they were drinking wine on the second day of the party, the king again asked Esther a question. Queen Esther, what is it you want to ask for? Ask anything and it will be given to you. What do you want? I will give you anything, even half my kingdom. Then Queen Esther answered, King, if you like me and it pleases you, please let me live. And I ask you to let my people live too. This is what I ask for. I ask this because my people and I have been sold to be destroyed, to be killed and wiped out completely. If we had just been sold as slaves, I would have kept quiet because that would not be enough of a problem to bother the king. Then King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, who did this to you? Where is the man who dared to do such a thing to your people? Esther said, the man against us, our enemy, is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was filled with terror before the king and queen. The king was very angry. He got up, left his wine, and went out into the garden. But Haman stayed inside to beg Queen Esther to save his life. He begged for his life because he knew that the king had already decided to kill him. Just as the king was coming back in from the garden to the party room, he saw Haman falling on the couch where Esther was lying. The king said with anger in his voice, will you attack the queen even while I am in the house? As soon as the king had said this, servants came in and killed Haman. One of the eunuchs who served the king was named Harbona. He said, a hanging post 75 feet tall has been built near Haman's house. Haman had it made so that he could hang Mordecai on it. Mordecai is the man who helped you when he told about the evil plans to kill you. The king said, hang Haman on that post. So they hanged Haman on the hanging post he had built for Mordecai. Then the king stopped being angry. Esther chapter 8. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther everything that belonged to Haman, the enemy of the Jews. Esther told the king that Mordecai was her cousin. Then Mordecai came to see the king. The king had gotten his ring back from Haman. The king took the ring off his finger and gave it to Mordecai. Then Esther put Mordecai in charge of everything that belonged to Haman. Then Esther spoke to the king again. She fell at the king's feet and began crying. She begged the king to cancel the evil plan of Haman the Agagite. Haman had thought up the plan to hurt the Jews. Then the king held out the gold scepter to Esther. Esther got up and stood in front of the king. Then she said, King, if you like me, and if it pleases you, please do this for me. Please do this if you think it is a good idea. If the king is happy with me, please write a command that will stop the command Haman sent out. Haman the Agagite thought of a plan to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces, and he sent out commands for this to happen. I am begging the king because I could not bear to see these terrible things happen to my people. I could not bear to see my family killed. King Xerxes answered Queen Esther and Mordecai the Jew, because Haman was against the Jews, I have given his property to Esther, and my soldiers have hanged him on the hanging post. Now write another command by the authority of the king. Write it to help the Jews in a way that seems best to you. Then seal the order with the king's special ring. No official letter written by the authority of the king and sealed with the king's ring can be canceled. Very quickly, the king's secretaries were called. This was done on the 23rd day of the third month, the month of Sivan. They wrote out all of Mordecai's commands to the Jews and to the satraps, the governors, and officials of the 127 provinces. These provinces reach from India to Ethiopia. The commands were written in the language of each province and translated into the language of each group of people. The commands were written to the Jews in their own language and alphabet. Mordecai wrote commands by the authority of King Xerxes. Then he sealed the letters with the king's ring and sent them by messengers on horses. The messengers rode fast horses, which were raised especially for the king. The king's command in the letter said this: the Jews in every city have the right to gather together to protect themselves. They have the right to ruin, kill, and completely destroy any army from any group who might attack them and their women and children. And the Jews have the right to take and destroy the property of their enemies. The day set for the Jews to do this was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. They were permitted to do this in all King Xerxes' provinces. A copy of the letter with the king's command was to be sent out. It became a law in every province. They announced it to all the people of every nation living in the kingdom. They did this so that the Jews would be ready for that special day. They would be allowed to pay their enemies back. The messengers hurried out, riding on the king's horses. The king commanded them to hurry, and the command was also put in the capital city of Susa. Mordecai left the king. He was wearing special clothes from the king. His clothes were blue and white, and he had on a large gold crown. He also had a purple robe made of the best linen. There was a special celebration in Susa. The people were very happy. It was an especially happy day for the Jews, a day of great joy and happiness. Wherever the king's command went in every province and every city, there was joy and gladness among the Jews. They were having parties and celebrating. Many of the common people from other groups became Jews. They did this because they were very afraid of the Jews. Thank you for joining A Day in the Word Bible in a Year series. Please subscribe, like, comment, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Until next time, Shalom.